I felt like there was just so much attention on it already, and I felt like I walked into a room and I was already different. I told Urban Meyer, who was the head coach of Florida at the time, that I just walked into the coaches' offices to sit down and talk about offense and defense, and I felt like everybody was looking at me like they had seen the video. And I just wanted to do everything I could to be normal again.
And Erin Andrews talking a little bit about the aftermath of having a video leaked of her. Of course, she had this video taken secretly in her hotel room through a peephole, and then suddenly it hit the internet in July of 2009. Andrews, who now works for Fox Sports, is taking the stand in her own defense in a $75 million civil trial against the Nashville Marriott, where the incident occurred. Jurors expected to hear more testimony from witnesses today. The defense, of course, questioning her as well. Joining us now to discuss the case is Brian Claypool, a criminal defense attorney, and Richard St. Paul, a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney. Just to point out, I was on Google Trends just taking a look at what is trending today. Erin Andrews' naked video, Brian, is still among the top 10 trending items. Of course, there is this huge court case, so that's bringing attention to it, but it's not the court case that people are looking up. So this video, as she argues, is still on the internet and is still impacting her career. What do you make of the defense's argument that her career somehow has improved since this video was first leaked?
Well, Jenna, there are two types of damages in a civil case. One is economic damages. In other words, what money have you lost as a result of the trauma that you've suffered? And that's what the defense lawyers are doing here. They're saying, look, this happened to you, it's really bad, we're sorry it happened, but at the end of the day, you have your career has escalated. You have, other than being a Fox News anchor, she's got one of the best gigs on TV with Dancing with the Stars. She's got the Fox News contract. She's got the Reebok endorsement. So the defense is saying, look, there is no harm here. Maybe there was a foul, but no harm and very little in the way of damages.
I want our viewers to see some of this cross-examination. Let's go ahead and play some of that sound.
You got a contract with Fox Sports, right?
Yes.
And that was a better contract, and you had your second contract with ESPN, right?
Yes.
Since July of 2009, you've also done endorsements, right?
Yes.
Your income has gone up substantially since this occurred. Right?
So, Richard, Erin Andrews says, listen, I poured myself into my work after this because I had to survive. It was such a traumatic event for me. Does the defense risk looking like it's punishing her for her success that she had in spite of this video, not because of it, which seems to be a little bit of the connection that they're trying to insinuate?
Yeah, no, a jury wants to listen to what makes sense. And here, Andrews is claiming that she suffered permanent psychological injuries, that she is emotionally distressed all the time, that when she checks into a hotel, she barricades the door. She doesn't let people in to deliver her luggage or food. And so this is with her for the rest of her life. And so what the defense is doing is trying to chip away at that $75 million judgment. And as mentioned earlier, you have economic damages, which they're chipping away of. You also have punitive damages, which are to put on the plaintiff to say that this type of behavior was outrageous and it shouldn't be repeated. In addition to that, she's claiming psychological injuries, and that's where you really have to determine what psychological injuries there were. And so on the plaintiff side, she's putting forward her parents, and on the defense side, saying her parents are basically saying, hey, you know, she hasn't been the same. And on the defense side, they're putting forward an employer, her former employer, ESPN, saying, look, after the incident, nothing changed about her behavior, and that's really what the jury is going to have to decide.
Of course, what the jury has also watched, though, Brian, is her, and we just saw a video of it, weeping on the stand, saying, I'm a completely different person. This destroyed the life that I once knew. Yes, I've been successful, but this wasn't my choice, and I didn't want this to happen, and look at how my life has changed in ways that I didn't want it to. What about that argument and the impact of the jury?
Well, Jenna, here's the problem with that. Most average jurors make about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. They are average folk on the street who are working their tails off to make an average income. When you walk into a courtroom, and I'm not minimizing what happened to Erin Andrews, but she wasn't physically assaulted, and then you're trying to tell a jury that for the rest of my life, I'm going to have therapy, and my whole life is ruined, yet I'm doing very well in the real world with my career. It's hard. It might alienate or polarize the jury, Jenna, because they're going to be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I'm making this kind of money and she's making 20 times that or 50 times that, and she wants more money. And another thing, Jenna, when you ask for a ton of money in a civil trial, you have to have a reasonable connection or a factual basis to ask for that. Otherwise, you will risk offending that jury. You just can't float out
Fair point.
millions of dollars.
I wonder, Richard, what you think of that. Also, with the fact that we've talked a lot about anger in relation to politics. I mean, I wonder if it could go the other direction, where someone that's making average income is angry at the big company for not protecting just the innocent customer that's coming into their place of operation.
Look, the question is, and only the jury will have all the facts here, and we don't. The question is, did the hotel breach its duty by allowing Ms. Andrews' privacy to be invaded? Did they have knowledge that she had a stalker, first and foremost? If they didn't have knowledge, then should they have known that their lack of security, that somebody could be, their privacy could be invaded? You know, those questions the jury's going to have to think about. But I agree. I think $75 million is a lot, considering her career. And I've seen jury awards as low as $1. And that's where you say no harm, but a foul. And the jury may award her and say, look, the hotel was negligent, but you get $1 because we don't believe you suffered.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what the final dollar amount is. We're going to have to leave it there. And it is also interesting that we'll bring it up in an additional panel about whether or not Erin Andrews should have given a heads up that a stalker could have been out there.
That's right.
I don't know. That'll be an interesting question. Brian, Richard, great to have you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie.